The Book of Judges is the seventh book of the Hebrew Bible and the Old Testament. It is set in the time after the death of Joshua, when the Israelites have entered the promised land of Canaan. The book is believed to have been written by multiple authors, and it spans a period of over 300 years. The central theme of the book is the cycle of apostasy, rebellion, and deliverance, as the Israelites repeatedly turn away from God, leading to their punishment, and then cry out to God for help. The book begins with the death of Joshua, the leader who had helped the Israelites conquer Canaan. With no clear successor, the Israelites do not have a unified leader, and this leads to chaos and disobedience towards God. The first few chapters of the book describe how the Israelites fail to drive out all the enemies in Canaan, as God had commanded them to do. This failure leads to the Israelites intermingling with the Canaanites, resulting in the adoption of their pagan customs and worship of foreign gods. The rest of the book is structured around the stories of 12 judges, men and women who were called by God to deliver the Israelites from their enemies. The first judge, Othniel, is a relative of Caleb and is appointed by God to save the Israelites from the king of Aram. His victory is followed by a period of peace. But as the judge dies, the Israelites forget about God and turn to worship other gods. This act of rebellion leads to their subjugation by the king of Moab, who is later defeated by Ehud, a left-handed warrior who is chosen by God to deliver the Israelites. The third judge, Deborah, is the only female judge mentioned in the book. She leads the Israelites to victory against the Canaanite king Jabin and his commander, Sisera. Deborah is considered a great prophet and one of the most powerful women in Hebrew history. The story of Deborah also includes the role of Jael, a woman who kills Sisera, the commander of the Canaanite army, with a tent peg during battle. This shows that God can use anyone, regardless of their gender, to accomplish his plans. The cycle of disobedience and deliverance continues with the fourth judge, Gideon, who is hesitant to lead the Israelites against the Midianites, but is assured by God through a series of signs. Gideon recruits a small army and defeats the Midianites in battle with God's help. Despite this victory, the Israelites soon turn away from God again and begin to worship Baal and Asherah. This leads to God punishing them with famine and the constant attacks from their enemies, the Philistines. The story of Samson, the fifth judge, is one of the most well-known stories in the book of Judges. Samson is blessed with incredible strength and is chosen by God to deliver the Israelites from the Philistines. However, he falls into temptation and is ultimately betrayed by Delilah, who cuts his hair, the source of his strength. Samson's death, along with many other Israelites, marks a low point in the book, as the people have completely turned away from God and are facing the consequences. The final judge mentioned in the book is Jephthah, a highly skilled warrior who is born out of wedlock and is initially rejected by his family. Despite this, he is chosen by God to lead the Israelites against the Ammonites. However, due to a rash vow he makes to God, Jephthah ends up sacrificing his only daughter, causing great sorrow and tragedy. The book ends with a series of dark and disturbing events that take place after the death of Jephthah. The Philistines continue to dominate the Israelites, and the book concludes by stating that, in those days there was no king in Israel, and everyone did whatever they wanted. This line serves as a reminder that, without strong leadership and guidance from God, the Israelites fell into corruption and sin. In conclusion, the book of Judges is a reminder of the continual cycle of disobedience and deliverance that the Israelites went through. Despite their repeated failures, God remained faithful and raised up judges to save them from their enemies. However, the book also highlights the consequences of turning away from God and the importance of following his commandments. It serves as a warning against the dangers of rebellion and disobedience, and the need for a true leader to guide and protect the people.